Hey, what's going on, good people? It's Gardner Douglas, your oyster ninja. All right, good people. So here we are, another episode. And you know what? You never know what you're going to get with the Oyster Ninja podcast. You never know. That's the beauty of having your own stuff. I was going to say something else, but I'm going to keep it as stuff. Um, I meet some very, very interesting people in my line of work. I really, literally never know who I'm going to run into. All different type of people, personalities, trades. I just never know. So in my journeys, I ran across Chef Angela, and it's been very exciting to, of course, follow her um, through social media, you know, and she's killing it. She's killing it. I've already asked her for $1. She said she would give me two. Um, Chef Angela, how are you?
I am doing good. I'm doing really, really good. Yeah.
Wow, is that what they say now? Like, I'm
Yeah,
really good.
man. Listen, I can't complain. Life is life in all the great ways right
That's
now.
that's so good to hear. How the heck did you get into the chef life? Let's start there.
Oh, how did I get in there from the roots?
Rudy, yeah,
That
from the bottom.
yeah, from the bottom. Oh man. I'm gonna take it all the way back to childhood. And that goes from so my grandpa, he's from North Carolina, grew up around this area in the DMV. And then also and then my grandma, she's from Louisiana. So they took their nice country living up to Seattle, which I was born and raised, and had this massive garden in their backyard. And so, with this garden, I mean, we took everything from the roots, cooked everything from took it from the garden. I mean, straight, from the garden, from the ground into the pot, onto the plate. Um, and so, yeah, that was my dad's side of the family. But then on my mom's side of the family, on my Mexican side, I'm Black and Mexican. Um, so my family, from Guadalajara, my grandparents, they came up here, raised all my mom, all my aunts, all my uncles, and in this little town called Yakima, Washington. And but over there, I mean, you have the orchards. You have like the we used to go out there to the orchards to pick peaches. We had the fresh apples. All the fresh ingredients, and then every time we go to Yakima, my grandma will be in the kitchen just cooking breakfast, pancakes in the morning, and then always got a big pot of something cooking, whether it's menudo, pozole, got some enchiladas going, tacos, all that kind of stuff. And then we have the barbecues with the carne asada, like all the just everything, and so growing up, I was raised in on both sides of my family with us just being involved in the kitchen, us being in the kitchen. I always spark an interest. I always love the smells coming from the kitchen. I always love, you know, I used to hate it back in the day, snipping the green beans and cleaning the greens with my grandma. But I spent a lot of time in there, with her talking, talking about the food, all the things on why we did the things that we did. As kids, us and the cousins, we used to fight over the turkey neck that, eating the turkey neck because, that's the best part of the turkey. And so just being around food and taking that passion, I always cooked for the house. I always cooked for the family functions and everything. Just because I love to. But then there came a point in my late 20s where I got let go from Comcast and I had the opportunity to go to culinary school. And I said, okay, well, I love cooking, so let me take this to the next level. And so, yeah, that passion of cooking started from when I was a youngster running around all the way to where I am back, going into culinary school in my late 20s, and I haven't looked back since.
At that young age, did you know that you could do this and get paid for it?
I I've always heard that it was kind of a rough industry and everything. Like people would kind of like, steer away from it. It wasn't really like a female, industry for female. You always see the men in it and everything like that in the restaurants and everything as chefs. But you didn't see a lot of women. And so it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I knew, but I didn't know that you can get paid. But I just it was like the passion for it was just there. And so that, you know, it didn't really matter the fact of the amount of like really getting paid, but as a youngster, actually, let me take it back. As a youngster, I wanted to be a basketball player. I thought I was going to go to the WNBA, so that's really taking it back. So I didn't even think about cooking when I was like in high school, middle school, high school, even like my first quarter of college before I came home. And I just had basketball in my eyes. And so it wasn't until later on in my 20s that I was like, you know what? Let me try this cooking thing. Let me try it out. See how I like it.
So you still make time for basketball?
You know what? I keep a basketball in my trunk just in
Uh,
case I want to
just in case.
go. Just in case. So I'm a hooper to the heart, always.
So you finished culinary school. Um, and would you hop into like did you find a restaurant? Did you stage or like how did you
So
even know the next step?
I know, right? So actually the very first job in a restaurant that I had, it's called Flying Fish. It's in Seattle. It's a really nice seafood restaurant. And I was I was the my professors always, still my mentors to this day. Chef Karen, she actually introduced me to a chef over in the Flying Fish chef, to get me a job. So that was my very first position, being a fry cook and pantry cook. And so in prep, I'd go in there and do prep. And it was it was fun. I think I was there for about 8 months or six, maybe about six to 8 months. But I was also coaching during the time, coaching basketball, high school varsity, and I coached one of my uh, so one of my players, she Dallas Richardson. Her mom came to me and goes, "Chef, I heard you're in culinary school," and I'm like, "Yeah, I am." And she goes, "Okay, I like you. You work hard. You always look after my daughter. You always been, you've been a part of the community forever. Seattle is it has a really strong Black community there in Seattle. So we all look out for each other. It's like a family. It's beautiful." And so she was just like, "I work over at the Fairmont Olympic Hotel in downtown Seattle. Let me know when you graduate. I'm gonna get you a job." This is no lie. The day I graduated, she calls me and says, "Are you ready yet?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, apply." So she applied. I went in for the interview. I'm interviewing with the executive sous chef at the time, Isabel, Chef Is, and we run into Olga in passing during the interview, and Olga looks Chef Is straight in the eye and goes, "You're gonna hire her, and you're gonna thank me." I'll never forget that.
Wow.
And so I got hired, and that's pretty much where I grew up in my culinary industry, under Chef Gavin Stevenson and Chef Is, and then later on Chef Paul, and they just pretty much raised me in the industry, taught me all the real basics of being an actual chef, because I started there as a cook, and then when I left there, I was a sous chef. So it was in the 5 year period that I was there.
So what do you think some of your pain points were in that learning phase?
Oh man, some of my pain points. Okay, I gotta tell you a story. This one time, it's my mashed potato story. So it was when it was when I finally got promoted to go work in a fine dining restaurant, and I'm hyped. I just came from Shuckers. Was doing all the fish, had a couple specials on the menu. Like, I'm thinking I'm like, just cool. Like, yeah, I'm like the young chef coming up. Man, I'm over there. I'm like mincing potatoes, getting ready to do mashed potatoes, and Chef Gavin comes up to me and goes, "You don't know how to cook mashed potatoes." And I'm like, "What do you mean, Chef? I've been cooking mashed potatoes for you for the past like few years downstairs in Shuckers." He goes, "No, you haven't. You're up here. You don't know how to cook mashed potatoes. Tomorrow we're gonna have a mashed potato cooking class at 6 p. Was it? No, he goes at 5 p.m. I'm like, what does that even mean? And he was like, "We're gonna have a mashed potato cooking class," and walks away. And I'm like, "Oh man." And so I'm thinking that, okay, he's gonna forget. So Chef Isabel comes to me and goes, "What's the butter to cream ratio?" And I'm like, "Huh?" She goes, you better do some research because you need to know." So the next day, no lie, right at that time, he's busy running around going crazy. Executive chefs are, they got a million things on their plate. So I'm like, there's no way he's going to remember mashed potatoes. And he literally stops on his tracks and goes, all right, chef, all right, Angie, let's go. Let's cook some mashed potatoes in the middle of the kitchen. Mind you, this kitchen is packed. And he's like, and at the time I was embarrassed, but he was like, so how do you cook mashed potatoes? Just loud chef voice, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, and he goes, nah. And so he's like teaching me and everything. But that lesson right there, it was amazing. It was humbling for one. And for two, I make some damn good mashed potatoes now.
Okay, I hear that. I hear that. So, like, I'm wondering. So, what was the difference between when you were making them downstairs and from the kitchen?
The ricer, the ricer. Oh, and then folding them. So, potatoes could get starchy. So if you're whipping them really fast and everything, they'll get that. They'll get gluey or they'll get a little starchy. But if you fold that cream and butter in really nice and smooth and slow, it'll all eventually come together, and then you'll get that nice silky mashed potato.
Ooh, okay, chef. Okay. Sheesh. Man. Okay, so you grew up fast but not too fast in the hotels. It was a hotel, right?
Right. Yep.
And so all right, is there a gap between how'd you get it to the East Coast?
Okay, so yes, I mean, I pretty much like so, I was a chef over I was a restaurant chef at a rooftop in Seattle, the Nest, for a little bit. And then I actually went over to the Hyatt hotels. And I was a chef over at the Grand Hyatt over in downtown Seattle for I want to say about 2 years before the pandemic, or a year and a half before the pandemic hit, and then the pandemic hit. I was the only chef that was kept on uh, over there at the Grand Hyatt throughout the whole pandemic. Me and Chef Brian, he was my executive chef at the time. Um, Amazing, like amazing friend, mentor as well, and he kept me on, and we just cooked family meal for the staff the whole time. Keeping the camaraderie. And then as the sports started opening up, we host like the soccer teams, the baseball teams, and a few of the NFL teams there. Previously the year before, we hosted the actual World Cup. Uh, the soccer World Cup over in the hotel, so we were the host hotel for there. And so we had a really good relationship with the and well, the soccer, baseball, and the football. And so during that time, I mean, we're hustling, we're grinding, being the being the steward, being the cooks, being the chefs, being the banquet servers, captains, all the things that you can think of. That's what we were out there grinding. And then it came a point where my kids, both of them graduated high school. My oldest son, he went off to the Navy right before the pandemic hit. So he was already gone in San Diego at the time. And then my baby boy, he's getting ready to graduate high school. And so I always said the day that they graduate high school is the day that I'm leaving the state. And I must have talked that into complete existence because I started already looking for jobs over in the East Coast. Applied for executive chef job over at Hotel Revival over in Baltimore and didn't get it. But my partner at the time, she got a position with Hyatt, thinking, okay, we're going to make this move anyway. So she got a job over at the Hyatt Regency, and they actually offered me a position too to help come open up their restaurant outlets for the pandemic. And so I took the position. It was an opportunity to leave the state, come to the East Coast. I have a cousin in Baltimore. He pretty much sold Baltimore to me, like a year prior. He's like, "Come live with me, Angie, man. Come out here." He's like my brother.
I can't imagine that sales pitch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I'll tell you, man. My cousin Armand, man, he's funny. He's like, man, it's cool. It's like you hear a lot of things, but nah, man, you just come out. He wanted me to just come hang out with him. That's what it was at the end of the day.
I'm sure. I'm sure of it.
So I did
Right.
for about a year. Was over at the Hyatt for about say about 8 months before Four Seasons came and got me as their executive sous chef. So I worked at Four Seasons for a little bit over in Baltimore, and then I got a phone call from the GM over at the Smoke and Mirrors rooftop. And that's how I ended up in DC. They brought me over, you know, they showed me around, and then they offered me the position. And it was my very first executive chef position. I have fallen in love with DC ever since.
What are these positions?
Oh man. So okay, so you got your sous chef. Um, that's your grunt person. That's the one that, you know, you could count on. That's gonna go and make sure your operations are on point. Um, you know, I have my guy, my favorite sous chef, my guy Lou. He was my sous chef over at the Cambria, and I mean anything with operations, I didn't have to worry about ordering all the things, making sure the line was set, making sure the staff was on point, making sure people, you know, were abiding to their schedules, you know, and then he would communicate with me, making sure that everything was, you know, everything's running smooth, everything's running good, or, you know, any issues or any problems. And then so that's where, you know, either he contacts the purveyors or I contact the purveyors. But more on the executive chef side is the finances, the financials, making sure those are on point, making sure all the numbers are aligned, food costs, labor costs, um, making sure the restaurant's staying relevant. You know, I really, one thing about me as a chef, I really love getting my team involved with, like, you know, recipes, or, you know, letting them, because I mean, we're all in this, you know, because we love cooking. So I love having them exercise their, you know, creativity, you know, and I'll give them deadlines, be like, all right, show me something by this deadline. If I like it, let's, you know, bring it into a dish. And so getting the team involved in that, inspiring the team, you know, and and you know, just really making sure that we're staying up to the you know, the trends, you know, ahead of the trends, you know, staying a step ahead, you know, being on top of it. And so those are really the jobs of the executive chef.
Okay, not what I expected to hear. Okay, all right. It's cool though. It's I mean now it's kind of putting things, it's lining the ducks up. Now, where are you at?
Now where I am at Nordstrom Cafe over in Pentagon City, executive chef over there. I actually just joined Nordstrom in October of last year, 2023, and it was a shocker to me as well. I mean, I stayed in hotels, running multiple outlets, you know, two restaurants, rooftops, you know, just having, you know, just doing crazy fun things. And so it's like, okay, how did I end up at Nordstrom's? I actually, after I left Cambria, I took about 6 weeks off. 2023 was a rough year for me. Um, my grandma who's very, very dear to me, she passed away. And on Cinco de Mayo, I got a joke on that one. She passed, my black grandmother died on Cinco de Mayo, and I always said that she died on this day because my other grandma was like, "Man, Erlene, come up here and get some of these tacos. It's Cinco de Mayo. We gotta celebrate," you know. And so
Nice. I
that's
like that.
you know, this May will be 1 year, and but it got to a point where I needed to step away from everything, for my mind. I said, forget everything else. I need to take care of my mind. And so that's what I did. I addressed some things that I needed to address. Uh, with that, some alcohol abuse, that, you know, I knew that I was doing a lot of drinking. I didn't address it. And then, you know, I refused to go to Seattle because I was like, I'm not going home because of the fact that like, I have my mom there and stuff, but I'm gonna drive by my grandma's house and I can't even go visit her. Why would I do that? And so I still haven't been home, but I am okay with that now. I mean, I can go home now. And so I really had to take that time to take a step back in my life because things were going so fast. Like opportunities were coming, like everything was coming, and I felt myself getting out of control. And so I needed to take that pause, that step back. Like, look, if you continue this route, opportunity is gonna miss. But if you take a step back right now in your life and just reevaluate everything that's going on, you still have time to get control of it. And so that's what I did. I took that step back, and it was funny because I had no will to work. And mind you, you know, I'm still making my, you know, involved in, you know, just I couldn't get myself to work. until one day I woke up and I'm like, let me go on LinkedIn and see what's happening. And so I went on there and I seen executive chef for Nordstrom. And I'm like, this might be a sign. I'm from Seattle. Nordstrom's is Seattle. What? How much? Okay, executive chef at a Nordstrom cafe. You know what? I think I can handle that. so, and so I applied, and it's funny because later on that day, I got a call from who is now my assistant manager. He said, "Hey, chef, I want to get you in here. I seen your resume." And I was like, okay, well, let me go talk to him. So I went over that same day that I applied, talked to him, and he pretty much sold it to me. He was just like, Chef, you'll come in, you work 7 to 3, maybe 4, maybe 5 if it's a late day, and you have your whole life. He goes, on top of that, you can do, I'm from this industry. I know you're from the industry. We don't have these opportunities. And so he pretty much sold me. I was like, okay, you know what? Yeah, and the discounts are amazing. So I was choose,
No
girl.
doubt about that.
And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let me do this. I can do this for a little bit. And and honestly, I'm really happy because not only is it giving me that good stability and income that I need and a peace of mind with a good organized company, it's also helping me be able to branch off and do my own thing as well right now. And it's giving me, and also taking that 6 weeks off and then going into a job that's, really nice. They have great systems already in place. It's just going in there and practice it. It's sharpening my skills as one, as an executive, as a chef. And then for two, it's really giving me that time to focus on me and where I want to take my career next. And right now it's really focusing on my menu consulting, catering business. And so it's actually been a huge blessing in disguise.
You just dropped a lot on me. You dropped a lot on me. Well, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for your loss because
You.
I know how those cornerstones can be, and when they're took away
Hmm.
from us, and it always feels like it's out of nowhere because we think we have that person forever. You know,
Right.
so I definitely know how you feel. I also want to commend you for stepping back and reflecting on your mind and your body, man, because I'm telling you, that beast has a handle over me at times. As
Man.
you saw that night
Look, that was
at the
a good
hotel,
night.
uh the beast, it comes out from time to time.
Man, look, that was a fun night. Listen.
Good, good. If you're around me and I'm where I was, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time regardless.
Yeah.
Um, but I just want to commend you just because like everybody, I've been talking to a lot of people, and I've also like stepped back because it's like it's not that I thought I had a problem, which I realize I do. But it's more so my body's like, yo, first of all, this ain't supposed to be happening like this.
Hmm.
Um, you're doing a little too much, and it's a little
Right.
too easy for you,
Right.
and that's not natural. The other
Hmm.
thing is like once I stopped or cut back, well, I stopped and then I cut back because I started again. But I'm in a cutback state. I'm just being open,
No, look, yeah.
um, like now I feel so much balanced.
So you're absolutely right with that, with like the whole stopping and taking that step back, because that's exactly what I did as well. I stopped, and then I took that step back. I stopped, and then it's just like now, and this has been going on since about October. Yeah, around the same time I started over at Nordstrom. Um, and so with that, I took on exercising. I took on fasting, so I intermittent fast from 9 p.m. till the next day, 12 noon. And I pray, I meditate every single morning. I journal, which I've always did poetry, but I've never journaled. And so I started doing that. My sister bought me probably the best birthday present Okay, I can't because my mom will whip my, she'll snatch me up. Like, hold up, what? Okay. My sister got me one of my favorite Christmas presents ever, and it was a Bible study packet. And she was just like, "And I got one for me, one for you. We're gonna do this together." So I was like, "Cool, let's do it." I ain't never, last time I did Bible study was when I was like a little tater tot. So so I got that. I've been doing that as well, reading the Bible, and so with that, yeah, when I go out and have drinks and stuff like that, and some nights I'm going in and having a ball, especially when you get the tequila shots going, it's going. My DJ, my girl Mim, she be like, "Chef, don't bring that tequila over here." Like, let's get that shot. But it's not abused anymore, and coming, it's more of a, all right, during the week, it's business. If I got events happening, it's business. That is business. But when I don't have nothing to do and I could just really let go and let my mind loose, all right, let's go. Let's have a good time. And that's pretty much where I took it. I knew where I was at when I was in I was in a dark place in drinking. And we all know that that's not what you want to do. But I took that step back and cleared all that darkness out of my mind, and now going into life in a more, the positive and refreshed way that I normally go about life, and it feels good.
Can I ask you to just be personal a little bit? Like, and this is for really more so for other listeners because you know where you've been and where you come from and where you're at now. But for that listener who is out there doing what they do, what does that dark place look like, or what did it look like for you?
Oof, that dark place was a spiral. You don't know what's happening, but it was me sitting on my couch one day in the summertime last year, and mind you, everybody probably thinks my life is all amazing and great, and articles being written, going to events every now and then, executive chef at a hotel and all that stuff. But me just sitting at home in a really in a place nobody's around, I'm an empty nester, and just like, dang, like, I'm alone. I'm alone. I have nobody. And here I am, you know, mind you, I do have people, my son's off in college, my other son's off in, living his amazing life in Japan at the time, but I'm so used to being, I'm in a new city. Yeah, I've been here for 3 years, but this is my very first time being all by myself. You know, I don't, I have everybody else lives far away. Um, and it was just a very, very lonely state, very lonely state. I don't want to say it was to the point to where it got to where I didn't want to be here anymore, but I just didn't know my place anymore. Even though my career was going in the right direction, you know, all things were going good, from the outside looking in. Inside I really felt empty. Like
I
I
get
don't
it.
I don't know what to do.
Thank you for sharing that. I have this conversation sometimes with friends, like, because first of all, I got a day job, right? But if you just look at social media, it looks like I'm just shucking oysters all the daggone time and having a good time at it and all of that good stuff. But it's like that's what social media does. You can paint whatever picture. For you, like you said, you had articles, you had blogs, you're accomplishing everything in life from the outside, but inside, you were going through something that, you know, you were going through something and nobody really knew it just looking at you.
One thing I do want to say to get us up out that spot is you get through it no matter what. Like, no matter what. If you hit that point and your mental is like, you know what, and you're able to address that moment, if you're
Yeah.
able to stop and be like, you know what, something ain't right with me, I need to figure it out. That's where I feel like I had to take that time and clear my mind.
Hmm.
And that's where to stop drinking and to stop smoking weed. I just had to stop all
Hmm.
that stuff. to really get that out my mind and clear it up. And so that's where, coming out of it, that is what really helped. And I cleaned my house. I cleaned my house and got it nice and clean, opened the windows, and I went and bought me some sage, and I said, get this. I'm telling you, I did.
Get thee
And
behind me.
man, and for real. And then I put my little pictures of I was like, you know what? I don't have pictures of my kids up in my house. Let me get my kids up in this house. Let me get my family. Let me get my house to where I want it to be. And that's what I did. I straightened up my home. And that's what I had to do.
Got the house in order.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for bringing that full circle. Hitting that dark spot and realizing it and then coming out of it and just keep pushing. Every day we have a new opportunity to just make life better. And not even like just make the day better. Make that second better. You know what I mean? Take it piece by piece. However you gotta take it in small portions. Take it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you say right there, small portions.
Because do you want to talk about the soups and everything that's going on?
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. So being the chef over at Nordstrom's, Nordstrom partnered with Chef Lauren Vanderpool, who's a native from DC, and she is the Queen of Greens. Is what they call her. Vegan chef, worked with Michelle Obama, Serena and Venus Williams. Her category is ridiculous. And it is an honor to be working with her at Nordstrom's. We're featuring her soup. It's a vegan spin on chicken noodle soup, but it's delicious. It's like a coconut cream base. It's a chicky noodle soup. That's what it's called. It's our feature over there at Nordstrom. And then we're actually doing a dinner with her on February 18th. February 18th is a dinner over at the Pentagon City Nordstrom. Tickets are on sale on the Nordstrom website. And it's going to be nice. It's going to be a really nice course style dinner. Chef Lauren will be there talking about her journey, talking about her dishes, full vegan menu. And I'm really, really excited to work with her. I heard nothing but amazing things.
All right, well, let's break into it. What can you talk about and what can't you talk about?
All right, what I can talk about is the fact that I will be on Chop this so it's a tournament. It's a Chop tournament. The first one that they've ever done. It's called Spin It to Win It. And when I say spin, I swear in every category you could think of on Chopped, you're spinning the wheel about something, and as you can see in the commercials that are out right now, you spin to see who's gonna cook that day, or for this episode, these 4 chefs are going to go up. The next episode, and it's really cool. And then on top of that, for the 4th ingredient, you spin the wheel to find out what the 4th ingredient, and all of it has a dollar amount to it. And so at the very end of the tournament, there's this huge grand prize. And so I am one of the chefs. The season actually starts on February 6th, this Tuesday. Chop, spin it to win it. With 16 total chefs. So 15 other amazing chefs. We actually developed a great relationship. They're all from all around the country, and it's just really a cool experience, a really cool tournament that I was involved in. This is my premier Food Network experience. Nice. I'm excited. When I tell you I had a ball, I had so much fun.
I can imagine. So was it a hard process to get selected for the show?
No, actually they reached out. It was between that and another episode, and I decided to go with this. And with the spinner to win it, because it's new, and it just sounded fun. Make sure to check me out on Chop Spin It to Win It this coming Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern on Food Network. It's a tournament that you've never thought that they would put out there. And yeah, chop, spin it to win it. I'm gonna be on there, me with all the other crew of chefs out there. See if I get chosen on Tuesday.
She trying to get chose, y'all. Again, thank you so much. Where can the people find you if they want to follow your journey? If they want to learn more about you, how can they do that?
Well, you can follow me on IG, chef underscore A Rose. And then also I'm working on my website right now, Angela Rose Catering. And yeah, just AngelaRoseCatering.com. And just really just yeah, follow me on Instagram. You'll see more things coming up, more me being more active this year in 2024. Last year was my year of crashing and getting back up, and so now is my year of building, with clarity and excitement and really having fun with the craft that I fell in love with. Oh, I got one more little fun fact for you. My first job at Fairmont was an oyster shucker.
Yo, so did you tell me that before? I don't know if you
I
told me that or not.
it might have been that drunk night that we was over there just yeah,
That's what I'm
but
saying. That's what I'm saying. Well, that's awesome.
yeah. So and also, man, look, if ever you want, like, yeah, hit me up sometime, man. Maybe we could do like an oyster shucking class, the date night thing. That'd be fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Sign me up. Let's let's
man.
let's hop offline right now. Let's start planning it.